When we're kids, some movies are forbidden fruit. You hear reports from our elder siblings about something we're not allowed to watch. Like how Han Solo is in this movie where a robot guy kisses another guy and then he kills him by shoving his thumbs through the human guy's eyes. As kids, we have absolutely no idea that Blade Runner is an important film or who Philip K. Dick is. What we do know is that some dude kissed and killed another dude, and there's no way our mom would let us watch that. For me, back in the 80s, the holy grail of forbidden fruit, if I can mix metaphors, was Sword and the Sorcerer. The gore and nudity reported by my friends with more permissive parents blew my mind. So naturally, I fixated on it until I was old enough to actually go and rent the VHS tape. And boy, did it ever deliver. The glory of 80s gore is how much creativity and loving care went into producing these rubbery effects. But we do see a man's skull get split in half with an axe. A demon rips a man in half from the inside. A tomb made of captured icky souls comes to life. A witch gets her heart ripped out from across the room. A man gets crucified at a dinner party. And then he uncrucifies himself. How metal is that? A handful of 1980s sword and sorcery films have withstood the test of time. The classy Conan the Barbarian, the epic Beastmaster, the self-important Excalibur. Sword and the Sorcerer survives today by distilling all of the stupid wish fulfillment of the genre into 90 minutes of adventure, magic, gore, and nudity. The names sound like an 80s D&D campaign.
Lord Micah, Zusha,
Machelli,
the Princess Alana.
Talon! 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 Talon!
So does the dialogue.
Let's be off. We've a battle at the offing. Kingdoms to save and women to love.
The hero, Talon, wields a three-bladed sword that can shoot blades. The logistics of this are of course never addressed. Do the blades regrow? Does he have to retrieve them and stick them back on? Does the sword use air compression, springs, or just magic? It would kill the fun of the movie to think about these issues. And if the movie is one thing, it is fun. Like many sword and sorcery films, it's a revenge fantasy. The hero, born to nobility but exiled as a barbarian, as always, returns to hunt down his family's killer and has fun adventures along the way. In this case, evil King Cromwell has taken over Talon's kingdom with the help of the sorcerer Zusha, whom Cromwell betrays. So both Talon and Zusha are working to bring Cromwell down. Why they both waited 10 years for the revenge is a little fuzzy, but you're not watching this for the logic. What does fascinate me in this movie, besides its decadent use of the R rating, is the slow escalation of stakes. Talon waltzes back into town and hires himself out to free some rebels and their leader. He never declares himself the rightful heir to the throne, but he leaves an old friend of his father's to inherit it, in the event that his inept rebellion is successful. Talon sets some archers on fire, punches a bunch of guys, but doesn't kill anybody, until he comes face to face with Cromwell, the killer of his parents. Cromwell assumes that Talon must be Zusha in disguise, so they fight. Cromwell only wins because Zusha, disguised as a courtier, intervenes. With Talon and Cromwell face to face, the last half of the film becomes a bloodbath. There's a lot of epic music and slashing. So much swashbuckling, so much slow-mo. The last half hour goes non-stop. It's one of my favorite final acts in any action film. Seconds before the medieval United Nations are slaughtered, Talon pulls himself off the cross and he leads a rebellion of pirates, kings, and concubines against an evil army, his parents' murderer, and ultimately the sorcerer Zusha, played by the adorable Richard Mall of Night Court fame. Talon confronts the usurper in a dungeon, but Zusha got there first, so the two argue about who gets to kill Cromwell. Talon only stabs the sorcerer when his own right to revenge is challenged. The final sword fight between Talon and Cromwell, both crippled by Zusha, is exhausting. Both men have received recent heart trauma. Cromwell is bleeding from his eyes. Spoilers, the good guys win.
Why the long faces? You've snatched a kingdom!
As a slab of 1980s cheese, Sword and the Sorcerer is extremely satisfying. I do have to include a caveat. Like most 80s sword and sorcery films, this film is intensely misogynistic. Talon's transaction with the female lead, free my brother and I'll sleep with you, is grotesque to say the least. And the torture and killing of one female double agent, which thankfully is not depicted on screen, is pretty off-putting. And then there's the nudity, which is gratuitous in that absolutely gratuitous 80s way. In one scene, the hero bumbles into a harem, which is completely out of place in the story. He kisses one woman and then apologizes to the rest of them.
I'd love to stay, but
The women are so smitten with the hero that they attack the palace guards to help him escape. All topless, of course. Later in the film, these harem girls are the Ewoks who rise up and launch a rebellion against the evil empire. So they at least serve as a plot point, but their undress is absolutely for the 13-year-old boys in the audience. If you can stomach all that, and I'll admit a couple of those points make this film difficult to defend, Sword and the Sorcerer is possibly the most perfect 1980s fantasy film ever made. By far one of the most absurd.
I can see my art is powerful.
So, if excess is something you enjoy, well, this is the movie for you.